So guys, we got to review some of the stuff that we covered the last 2 weeks to get you ready for your assessment tomorrow. Or whatever day you're taking this, the next couple of assignments are review, so that way the last one, which is the assessment, you're ready for that. So what you need to know for the assessment, you need to be able to do midpoint, distance, and slope without a formula sheet and without examples on Delta Math. I'm going to set it so that you need to do those three things. There's also going to be some things on points, lines, planes, angles, maybe not a lot, but you're going to see some stuff from those topics. So this is a little bit of a review. This isn't necessarily exactly what you're going to see on Delta Math, but it is going to review some points. And the other thing this covers is it does cover skew lines and intersections, some things that we've talked about but maybe not practiced a lot. So let's jump into this IXL. This is D.1 on geometry. So notice we've got a cube, and we want to know which lines are intersecting. Now notice these different options. These are all, we could click all four of these, two of these, one of these, so don't just find one that's true, check all of them. So here GJ and JI, those are going to be intersecting, right? I follow this line, I follow this line, I notice they kind of cross at point J, so that looks good. Let's look at HI and IJ, and again, they intersect right there. HI and IM, kind of a quick hint here, if it's sharing a letter, it's probably going to intersect, and then IJ and KN. Now let's look at IJ is coming this way, KN is coming that way. These do not look like they're going to intersect, so let's just double check that. That looks good. All right, so that's intersecting. That should be kind of a breeze. Let's see if I can find a different problem here. I want to find some intersecting lines again, so that's going to be these guys. I want to see if I can find a skew line problem. Okay, so here's some parallel planes. So this is a good one to look at. So I'm looking for planes that are parallel. So I look at OPS, OP, and S. So that's kind of that back wall, that large back wall. OPS would be that back wall there. And QRS. Well, that's not, those are going to be intersecting. Again, I'm reviewing this just to double check to make sure you know what you're doing. It shouldn't take much more than 5 minutes, which is why it's just a review assignment. So let's look at this next one, MPQ, NOR. That looks good. We're going to choose that one and move on. All right, skew lines. This is kind of the last thing we need to review, and the thing that sometimes people have a hard time with. When we're dealing with skew lines, those are non-intersecting lines that do not cross. That aren't in the same plane. So they're non-intersecting, so they don't cross, and they're not in the same plane. And that's a little difficult to understand verbally, but let me show you what we're talking about. Let's take a look here. I've got PQ right here and LP. So those intersect, so that by definition is not skew. Let's look at this next one, KL and LM. Those intersect. How about JM and OP? Would these two, and let me highlight these guys. Would these guys, OP and JM, are those two skew lines? Well, they don't cross, but are they parallel? Well, they're not on the same plane that we can see, but can you imagine a plane where both of these lines are on the same plane? Well, what if I make my plane MPOJ, where I kind of have a plane kind of going slanted through that box? Well, I could, and if I can make a plane that connects, that has both lines on it, then they are not skew lines. Even though I don't have a picture of that plane, these would not be skew lines. So let's take a look at this last one. Let's hope this last one works out for us. I've got JN, so this is kind of a vertical line here, and OP. So notice, I'm sorry, that's not OP, that's QP. There we go, OP. There we go. So notice OP and JN, do they cross? They don't intersect. Are they on the same plane? Well, one is going vertically and one's kind of coming this way. There's no one plane that's going to hold both of those lines. This is maybe the most complicated of the things we talk about. People have kind of the hardest time with skew lines. So I did want you guys to see some practice here. Our correct answer here would be JN and OP. So again, this should be a easy IXL. You should be able to get to 100 without any difficulties. So I'm going to expect you to get to 100. The other review assignment is the what we call the cardinal book. There's a cardinal on the front, but you guys don't get to see the book. So in case you're wondering why you see cardinal book, that's why. It's 9 multiple choice, well, 8 multiple choice questions and a fill in the answer. I would really encourage you guys to do a good job with that and actually try the questions and then see which answers are the correct answers, and then check the ones that you got wrong and see, why did I get this wrong? It's a mix of distance, midpoint, and endpoint, so don't just assume that it's one or the other, or you're going to be getting the wrong answer. So take your time. It's a good mix of problems. It'll help you get ready for the assessment on Delta Math, which will be the next day's work. So hopefully this is helpful. Feel free to email me if you have any problems.